first of all, I guess
Morning.
congratulations on 20 years of service. It's neat to be able to have these conversations and reflect on time with Maverick for sure. Does it feel like 20 years flew by?
Unfortunately, yeah, it's going by a lot quicker than I thought it would, for sure. But it's good.
Goes by quick for sure. I guess just to sort of start out, you've handled a lot of responsibilities and changes over 20 years. But I started to put together kind of some notes and questions for you. The two things I think that have always been central to the roles that you've served and the area that you've worked in, past and present, is that it's always been about two things. It's been about making our customers' back office experience smooth, and how can we sort of support our internal and our external customers and make their lives a little bit easier. And your current role as a county services manager is no different. You lead a great team that's responsible for credit review and contracts and collection practices. You guys have also added some detention monitoring over the last several years, and lots of other back office support that goes along with that. And you guys just provide solutions, I think is probably the best way to put it. But I know you couldn't have started out with all the answers. So to start out, can you talk a little bit about what brought you to Maverick in the first place, and what it was like starting new, looking back and realizing 20 years ago, gosh, you started within a month of 9/11. So just kind of touch on maybe what it was like to start, a new career and a new job around the time period that had so much uncertainty that was going on.
Yeah, 9/11 was an experience for sure. Actually, what brought me to Maverick was a recruiter named Sam Carr when I separated from the military back in '99. Wow. She was the recruiter that worked at Staffmark. They got me placed in my first job with a Fortune 500 company over in Little Rock. And I'd been there about 12 months, and they decided to move operations. And when she heard that I was looking for a job, she reached out to me. She had moved over here to Maverick as Maverick's HR person. And luckily, she got me in the door there, or in the door here. And I was able to interview with Martha Bennett and Jay Thomas, and the rest is pretty much history on that. I mean, the stress of 9/11, though, was definitely there. Being from the military, I thought we were going back, and it's kind of ironic. I remember being in a hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada, training my replacement at my other job when all that happened, and the stress of having to get back and everything was insane. And seeing the strip shut down, which I never thought would, actually did. So that was kind of interesting. But, starting a new job was pretty easy after figuring out how to get home during that mess. So it's a good time.
Oftentimes, when we do 20 years or we do, safety awards and different things with drivers, we spend a lot of time talking about the miles they ran, and how many times, to the sun and back or around the globe. And it's always just crazy and incredible, how far they've ran. And I was thinking about this kind of from the back office standpoint of that and sort of how that relates to what you guys are doing. And I went back and looked at the last 20 years of loads, for example, and 20 years, your service that you've been here, we have ran over 4.2 million truckloads. And it's incredible to think about that and think about the role that you guys have played in that and your team. That represents thousands of customers, ensuring that the credit was correct, ensuring that, the technology between us and the customer and the drivers were all talking to one another, making sure that our data was correct and kind of the forward-thinking adaptations that we've made sort of the customer's needs during that time period. So all of that responsibility, that you and you manage within your team requires building and maintaining a very strong team. So kind of tell me a little bit about sort of your team, what they've sort of meant to your role and supporting you and what you guys have done to kind of accomplish the goals of Maverick over the last 20 years.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've got some great teammates. I can't say enough about what they do and how much they mean to me. They do a fabulous job. I mean, over the years, I've worked with some tremendous people, that have gone on to be supervisors and managers within the company. I mean, if you look at John Julian, Amanda Poe, Alicia Olden, Michelle Holt. I mean, just a ton of people that have helped support me over the years, and Maverick as well, and continue to do a great job. I can't thank them enough. And if I was anybody, I don't want to mention names, but everybody has been a tremendous support to me here at Maverick, and I can't say enough about the job they do in supporting us and getting things done.
Absolutely. And your group seems like it's always, at times in a pipeline internally. It seems like we've always been able to develop folks that have come through your area, which has certainly been a testament of your leadership and what you guys have been able to do within your area. When you started at Maverick, our truck count was about half of what it is today, with a much smaller staff. Not only have we grown as a company, but I went back and looked at our sort of the listing of those and their anniversary dates that we've had over the last several years. And if you look at it today, we have almost 70 active employees that have been with us for at least 20 years. And that's incredible to see that. So I just have to ask, I guess, as you look around and see those that have been with you and around you for a long time, can you share some of the things maybe that have changed in the past 20 years? Whether it's in regards to sort of how we meet our customers' needs from back office standpoint, or really, anything else that comes to mind.
Yeah. I was thinking back the other day when I first started, there were only 3 of us, and one was a collector that was on the phone all the time, one that actually typed up balance dues and overpayments and sent those out, and one that did rating. And we had all these binders on the wall, where we put rates in and kept up with customers' rates and things like that. But I think the key, to answer your question, the key to people being here so long is really the support system that we get here. Everyone does a tremendous job of supporting everyone. And we also use a lot of technology to make things much easier. I mean, over the years, things have gotten so much easier to get things done technology-wise here for sure. The reports that we generate make things so much easier. So the technology is a big piece. The other thing is I think we do a really good job of finding creative solutions for our customers and working with them to not only service them, but for them to understand the risks that we undertake while hauling their freight and the sacrifices that our drivers make in hauling it as well. I think that's the thing that's changed the most, and what's kept people here is just the relationships.
Yeah, no, that's well said. I think that lays it out perfect, Jim. I appreciate that. And I guess also, not only on the customer side, but also internally, talk maybe about the culture of Maverick and sort of, maybe the relationships that you've been able to build during that time period, because we know it's a huge part. It is who we are as a company, the relationships that we build internally and externally. So maybe you kind of share with us sort of, what you've observed and seen over that time period and kind of how things have evolved from that standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like I said earlier. I mean, it's fostering of relationships of everybody supporting everyone. I mean, a perfect example for me would be, the new student program that we've implemented. I mean, I've had to work with Kurt Valkovic and his team quite a bit to get things done the way that Maverick wants them done. I mean, just the level of support that he's given me has just been unreal. I mean, a task I get from you, if I ever have a question, I can come to you and you help me with whatever I need. I think that's the key to Maverick as a whole, is just the way that we work so well with each other.
Yeah, no, I agree with all that, Jim. I appreciate that. We've talked a little bit about, the customers. We talked a little bit about sort of the Maverick family. Tell us a little bit more about your family. We know that, to spend time not only, and thank you for your service. I know you touched on your time in the Army. Jim is a veteran and spent many years in the Army, but in order to sort of have that career and then to transition into a career at Maverick and spend 20 years here of sort of dedicated service requires support not only here but also at home. Tell us a little bit about your family, kind of where your time has spent sort of outside of Maverick, and kind of what your family's meant to the journey with Maverick for the last 20 years.
Yeah, everybody that knows me knows that my family is the most important thing in my life. I mean, I've been with my wife since I was 17 years old. I've been married for 28 years, so God bless her for putting up with me for that long. And then I've got three boys. David, who's 25 now, he works in the banking industry. I've got Zachary, who's 23, and Sam, who is 14, going on 21, it seems like. But they're growing up fast. And we spend most of our time at the ballpark. I mean, if you know me, I love coaching kids. I love developing them. Watching them grow has been tremendous. Spending time with my kids in that environment has been second to none as well. I mean, that's something I'll always remember, and hopefully they do as well. And then, the relationships in the office too have meant a lot to me. I mean, I can't thank you and Debbie and Jay over the years for your mentorship. And, I was telling my wife the other day, one of my favorite stories about Maverick is when John Clark was coming to my office the day that I started. It was always a relationship that I didn't have at other places I worked. And I was kind of surprised that he came over and asked, hey, is there anything that I can do to help you? I told him, I said, I'd like to have some speakers for my computer to listen to these financial statements. But I can get those later, because back then we didn't have computers that had speakers. And about 20 minutes later, John came upstairs to my office, and he was toting a couple speakers for my computer. And he's like, is there anything else you need? And I'm like, wow, that means a lot for him to take the time to do that. And we had a great conversation about the military, and he was telling me about his family service, and it was just great. So I mean, family externally and internally is what I consider important. So
I've told people before, when they were starting out, maybe looking for that first opportunity to find a career, and not a job. A job is short term, and it's about making a buck. A career is something that you build towards and you work upon every day, and you try to get better at it. You try to improve, and it requires all the stuff that you've touched on. It requires, building relationships and loyalty and hard work. You've obviously found, a career in Maverick, and after 2 decades, it's home to you. So what words of advice would you give to someone that's on their journey, their path, and they're trying to find that workplace destination, whether that's at Maverick or somewhere else or another industry altogether? What would sort of be your advice to them?
My advice to them would be to identify what's most important to you, and then tailor your job search around companies that have those same ideals and will support you. I mean, for me, as you know, family is my most important thing. So when I got here to Maverick, and the family type atmosphere, the home time, the doing things with integrity, I mean, the core values of Maverick fit with me. And that's what's kept me here over the years. And like I've said before, I mean, I've had some great managers that have helped about me and challenged me over the years. I mean, you, Jay, Debbie, that have given me opportunities to continue to grow and to continue to learn and challenge me. And that's the thing that's kept me here over the years. So my advice to anyone else would be identify what's important to you and find a place to go that supports those goals.
Very good. Well, Jim, I am extremely proud to work with you. You're a huge part of our team and the Maverick success. And our accomplishments as a company are because of people like you that show so much commitment and dedication. So just want to say on behalf of the entire company, thank you, Jim, for your commitment, for your hard work, and for 20 years of service to Maverick. So thank you very much, Jim. Appreciate you spending some time with us today.
Sounds good. Thanks.